What's good, YouTube? Dom, David Sports Cards here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. The National Sports Collectors Convention 2023 is coming to a close today, and I just got back in last night. I had an absolutely phenomenal time. Unlike last year, where I was nervous, it was my first big show like that, and it was my first time meeting pretty much everybody in the community. So I was the new kid on the block, and this year it really felt like what everyone says, a family reunion. Even the people that I had not yet met, whether I had been interacting with them a lot or watching them a lot, it just was all natural. Everyone was super nice and welcoming, and it truly it made me feel like I belonged, like I was in the right place. So thank you to everybody that I interacted with in the weekend. I'll definitely be shouting out plenty of people throughout the video. I decided to go to the Wednesday preview night this week because I wanted to get a lay of the land. Everyone was saying this show floor plan is a lot larger than it normally is, and that it's going to be overwhelming. I was sensory overloaded last year with all the cards, so I definitely wanted to get in there Wednesday. So much so that I took the first flight out of Connecticut to get there, and my room was clearly not ready. So I dropped my luggage off in a friend's room, and Matt, THA Card Story, took me, Dave, Legends of the Dugout, and Adam, Vintage Sanctuary, with him, saying, we'll go out for lunch and we'll hit this card shop that I used to go to when I lived around here. Of course, bringing four guys who are chomping at the bit to go to the National to a card shop the day of is very risky. I was hoping that nothing was too big there that caught my eye, but I did pick up a couple things and started off with a couple 77 Wonder Bread Star Wars cards, R2-D2. I love this. I'd love to get the Topps one with the blue as well. And I actually didn't know about this set until Silver Jack Fi did his Hobby Palooza event about the cards that he's earned and lost the most money on, and this was one of his biggest failures. The 77 Wonder Bread Luke Skywalker. He has a much nicer copy than mine. This is a very beat up copy, but I love Star Wars. It was a really funny talk about how he thought this was going to be shooting to the moon and how it just face planted completely, with all sincerity. But this is a really cool card as a Star Wars fan, and when I found a beater in a box, I just had to pick it up. Definitely inspired by that video. And then I saw this in the showcase, and I've seen them before, but I'd never seen one with a price tag where I'm like, wow, that's a little less than I would have expected. And this was in their showcase, a 1961 J Publishing White Sox team pack with Nellie Fox on top. The price tag was $20. I actually got it for more like $15. And I thought that I got a really good price because I'd assume most of these got opened by kids back in the day who wanted to look through the picture packs. But when we were checking out, Matt got some stuff, Dave got some stuff, and we kind of combined together to get the best possible deal. Matt asked if he had any more of these, and he said that he used to have a bunch, and that made me immediately think, well, they're not that rare then. And I looked up on eBay. There's a ton of them that you can get in the $15 to $20 range, and I'm still super happy to own it. I mean, really awesome. Nellie Fox there with the chaw in his mouth. You'll definitely see him later, but this is just a really unique piece that I was happy to add. And Dave, knowing that I picked this up, actually found this at a booth and gifted it to me. So thank you, my older brother from another mother. It was great to finally meet you in person, and I really appreciate you thinking of me here with this picture pack of the Red Sox. I got the Red Sox and the White Sox from Chicago. When I actually got to the show floor, I was more so trying to get a lay of the land, just walking around with Dave and Matt and a few other people, and I just wanted to kind of get my footing and take some notes of some tables that I want to go back to, and pick up anything where it's cheap and probably gonna go. And I found this card. I'd seen this set online. I had never held one in person. 707 Sports Cards had stacks. A few other tables actually had stacks too. The 1961 Topps Magic Rub-Offs. This one's of Harvey Haddix, who is not a Hall of Famer, but a very famous baseball name of the time. And these are cartoons with their nicknames. So there's some really cool ones in there. Ernie Banks and Joe Gordon are two of the Hall of Famers. But Harvey Haddix here is the kitten. I thought it was a monkey initially, but when you read the backwards writing, it clearly says the kitten. And just really unique cards. PSA is only graded 32 of the Haddix, so you don't see them every day. And I was really happy to pick this up. I love the colors and just the 60s feel that these have. So yeah, 707 Sports Cards. Definitely have a few of those as well. And I went over to my buddy Jim, who is the #1 Yastrzemski Master Set on PSA. And I had to go over to his table on day one because if he has affordable Yastrzemskis that are harder to find, I needed to pick them up before somebody else did. And he had two. So I got this 1983 Topps fold out of Carl Yastrzemski. And on the front is Yaz with his 442 career homers at the time. And then there's Rick Monday on the back. And this folded out like an accordion. So I'd actually never seen one of these, at least slabbed. And they were distributed in kind of a weird way. I try to just stick to his playing days, and this is his final season, obviously. So finding this was really special to kind of get like a more obscure 80s card of him. I know there's a few like Boston Herald stamps and different things like that, but finding something that Topps did that was obscure then is really cool. And the fact that it's hand cut, I mean, and getting a 4, I'm fine with that all day. But the big pick of a day one was this 1967 Boston Red Sox team issue, Carl Yastrzemski, and he had a 6 and a PSA 2. I said, let me see that 2. This 2 is beautiful. Look, you can't even see the slab, and the picture looks amazing. I love that image of him smiling with the batting cage net behind him. I mean, it's just awesome. His #1 year, 67, was the Triple Crown year, the Impossible Dream Red Sox. PSA has only graded 11 of these. I've seen the image before, but not this particular photo. And I was super happy to be able to pick up a Pop 11 Yastrzemski on day one before someone else does the same thing that I do and says, well, your 6 has this price. Let me see what you have the 2 priced at, because this was priced incredibly fair. I'll show some pictures now of the outing that I had with Matt, THA Card Story, Adam Vintage Sanctuary, and Dave Legends of the Dugout, and then I'll get back to you with day 2 of the show. So day 1 was fantastic. Ran into plenty of YouTubers at the show, both waiting in the incredible lines as well as on the show floor, and was just trying to get a lay of the land because everybody who got there early and saw the map kind of knew that this was going to be a step up from a typical national in terms of square footage. So it was a lot of walking to do, a lot of figuring out where things are. The extra added corporate spaces kind of pushed dealers all over the place. Guys that have been doing the National for years and have great reputations like Craig Halbig got pushed out for wanting 2 booths instead of 1. So stuff like that really happened all over the place, and there was like pockets of vintage everywhere. But the main section when you walked in was all vintage pretty much. And it was really awesome to kind of go through there, write down some potential targets and boosts to come back to, different stacks and whatever that I wanted to look at, whether someone was in the way or I just didn't have the time. But Thursday was about starting to make plays. I'd gotten some cool Yaz stuff out of the way. He didn't really have anything else that I wanted to shoot for the moon for with Yaz. I didn't have quite the budget that I had last year, so some of his really big ticket items were just not in the cards for me this time. But what was in the cards for me was going to a dealer who actually had a piece for my good friend Jake at Legends Never Die. I will not spoil what I got for him, but he told me to get him the best possible deal on the piece, and I did get the best possible deal by bundling with this other item, and I'm super honored to own it. I hope this doesn't start a bad habit because I'm not really a tobacco guy myself, but I got this circa 1960s free sample of favorite chewing tobacco, a large size 3-ounce pouch. You can taste the quality from Taylor Bros Inc., Winston-Salem, North Carolina, with Nellie Fox on the front. Mr. Chewing Tobacco says, "Try my chewing tobacco. It's the greatest." And I think it's really cool that Nellie Fox is on the front of a chewing tobacco thing because every single one of his pictures, he has the cheek full of chaw, just like he does there in the image. So it's really fitting, and I think this is going to look great displayed with some of his cards, much like that photo pack that I got earlier. I can have a pretty cool Nellie Fox display, I think, with this being arguably the centerpiece. And what makes this interesting is Nellie Fox isn't Mr. Chewing Tobacco. It doesn't just say Nellie Fox says. It on the back, there are these big leaders' shoe favorite. And it has Louis Aparicio, Bill Mazeroski, and a bunch of other stars. Harvey Keene, actually, I was told by Darren at Hardball Crazy that he played for the Giants in 61 through 64. So this is early 60s, before Aparicio even went to the Orioles. So it's probably 61, 62. So really awesome piece, and you know, I can't pinpoint the year exactly. The only sold thing that I saw was an auction company just saying 60s, and it sold for significantly more than this one did. The cellophane's falling off. I don't know if I'm going to leave it on or not for display, but it's protecting it for now. I need to get one of those video game cubes for it, I think. That seems to be the consensus best option for this. But I'm really excited to have my own tobacco pouch. I know Jake got a much cooler one last year. This one doesn't have any cards, but it does have the tobacco still in it. I can smell through this back part up here. You can still smell the tobacco that's in it. And this thing on the back is like, here's why men who know chewing tobacco choose favorite. All leaf tobacco, juicy rich flavor, and moisture retaining flavor strips. I think those moisture retaining strips are why I can still smell it to this day. It's a really cool piece. I'd never seen one before, and I'm honestly just blown away to own it. The fact that this was priced for under $100, it was just a no-brainer for me. I needed to work out a deal, and I was happy to be able to bundle and make Jake happy and make my collection happy as well with two really cool tobacco pieces. So this was awesome. I also got a Redman card to keep the tobacco going. It was not in the best shape, but Monty Irvin for a couple bucks. I couldn't say no. I added my 55th unique Hall of Fame autograph at the show, and honestly, as soon as I saw this card, I knew I just had to have it. The 1958 Topps Bill Mazeroski player auto. That autograph is so short, but the card is so centered, it's so vibrant. Like, this is just a beautiful 58 Mazeroski, and the fact that it has a signature on it. Second year, old Pirates logo, the ketchup and mustard. Like, it's just everything you could want out of vintage baseball with an autograph on it. So Mazeroski is one of the cheap ones that I needed. There's still quite a few of them, actually, as I try to build towards 100 different Hall of Fame autos, kind of a little side project that I'm working on as a Hall of Fame collector, and this card is just incredible. I would have been interested in this card even if it didn't have the autograph on it, but the fact that it does just really made me jump at the chance to own this. Player era autos, as Mike Moynihan has talked about on his podcast with George Diamond Yard Sports, have been way more popular, and the cards have been selling for a lot more as well to go along with it. So this is just a really awesome thing, and when they charge you more to sign the rookie, get the second year signed. So that's awesome. I wish SGC still authenticated autographs. I hope they start doing that again. But my big pickup of day 2 has to be this opportunity to get a card from the 1933 Warsh cigar set. And this honestly is probably my pickup of the show. The dealer is someone that Scott, Baseball Cards and Curiosities, knows, and I walked by his table, had a case of Pokemon, a couple cases of Modern, and a case with vintage Topps Bowman. Then in the bottom corner, just 2 stacks of Warch cigars with a Gehrig on top. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to afford the Gehrig, but I need to look at what else is in here. So I flipped through, and this card already had what I thought was a pretty fair price. The dealer wasn't there. The guy running the booth told me that he could go to $200 for the card. And $200 sounded good, but the fact that he was willing to go down to that and said you can come back and talk to him to see if he can do better made me think that they were willing to work with me. So I talked to John Mangini, who owns quite a few of these, and he told me that $200 was a phenomenal price. So I went back pretty fast to the table. A deal was actually going down for the Gehrig, a Lefty Grove, and one of the commons. Somebody was building the set. Thankfully, they did not need this card. But I got the 1933 Warch cigar, Vernon Lefty Gomez. And that flick, a casual in the New York pinstripes, Hall of Fame pitcher. It's a PSA 2 mark, but that doesn't matter. What matters is it's an authentic 1933 Warch cigar, Vernon Lefty Gomez. PSA is only graded 5 of these people. I don't care what the grade is. And the fact that the eye appeal is very good, there's the crease that made it knock down, and the mark is a 161 on the back. I don't know if that was an address, if that was a statistic, if that was 191 from this way. I don't know why someone did that, but it helped me get a better deal 90 years later. These were mail-ins from the Warch Cigar Company that was based in St. Paul, Minnesota. So you would take the cigar bands and send them in, and they would mail you these stars. The checklist is actually larger than I thought when I looked at the pop, but the pop for almost every single card in the set is less than 10. So these are very scarce. John has several. Dave Blue Jacket 66 just got the Ruth, and I have the Vernon Lefty Gomez. So cool. I wanted to get a cool pre-war card at the show. I think I accomplished that here. That image is just fantastic, and the fact that these are so hard to come by and I was able to get a good price on it, phenomenal. In the words of John Mangini, I just had to go back and get it before someone else scooped it up. So that was my big pickup of day 2. I did stay down the pre-war lane and get this 1910 to 12 sweet capital pin of Harry Hooper, Red Sox legend, Hall of Famer. And I didn't have anything Harry Hooper in the collection. I didn't have any of these sweet capital pins. I know that they actually are in pretty good shape relative to the cards of the day. But the paper on the back here is actually what makes them grade lower. Is it's a paper insert, and they can get kind of scratched away or messed with or placed wrong or whatever. And that actually is similar to the 89 Upper Deck with the little hologram. The hologram is what gets them on the back here. It's the paper insert that gets these pins a lot of the time. But this being graded a 6 and being over 100 years old, I was thrilled to own this. The guy came down a lot off that sticker price for me, seeing that I was a young guy, Red Sox fan, Hall of Fame collector, and I got a phenomenal price on this as well. So 2 new pre-war Hall of Famers added to the collection. 1 very small and 1 very big. Just for scale there. And then, of course, the highlight of day 2, the first full day, after 6 hours at the show, well, 8 hours at the show, I showered and headed over to Embassy Suites for the YouTube get-together that Mike Moynihan put on. And Mike, I just have to thank you again, man, for putting that on. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is one of the highlights of everybody's week that goes in the community. The fact that they catered pizzas. They ordered pizzas on the house from Giordano's. The fact that there were dealers there like Craig Halbig. There was Dr. Beckett being there for quite a while. And the number of collectors, girlfriends, wives, supporters, it just was amazing to talk to and meet so many people at that event, and it was amazing. I was there at 6:45 until 11:45. I stayed for like 5 hours talking to a lot of people. Snoop, who I've been watching for a long time, actually asked me to sign his baseball bat that he was having YouTubers sign. Mike, Canadian Cards, who I finally got the pleasure to meet as well, was having a guy sign a YouTube custom full-size football helmet. So being asked to sign those things was truly humbling, and the fact that I went from being a guy last year where nobody knew who I was to people at least recognizing me and saying what's up and getting to meet and talk to so many different people. It was truly a special night that I will not forget. I have some footage of that. I know a lot of people went live during those and had some cool moments themselves, but Thursday was truly an awesome day. I mean, from the Babe Ruth bat to watching Dylan Double D Vintage and Adam Splendid Sports on the main stage for John Newman's show, to walking over and meeting Ryan Nolan from Breakout Cards, who I helped solicitate a deal between Ryan and Dylan for Dylan to get a very rare surfing card that I'm sure he will show off in his videos for a long time. And honestly, just everything that I could have hoped for, and then some, in terms of the Thursday night get-together. So many great guys. John was buying people drinks and walking around like he owned the place. It was truly awesome to see him in his element there, and he was bouncing around from every single social group, as many of us were, to really just soak it in and try to talk to as many people as possible while we were there. There's still people that I didn't talk to at the Thursday get-together that I definitely am kicking myself about, but that's kind of how it goes. We had 250 people there at the peak. It was a big event, so I really had a great time there. I picked up this 65 checklist from Brian that's very clean, no checks. Needed that for my set. And getting to see Brian, Sammy Thunder, Theo Clemente Collector, these guys that I talk to regularly that I don't get to hang out with that often, just getting to spend some quality time with them and share cards and pickups and knowledge, it's truly humbling. I'm someone that was collecting off to the side for a long time by myself, and I was living vicariously through videos, and then I took the leap and went to Atlantic City, and it truly has changed my hobby life for the better, and nights like that are just why. I'm going to show the Babe Ruth clip for those who haven't seen it. If not, just skip ahead 30 seconds, and then I'll get to day 3.
At the National Baseball Collectors Convention, here at Memory Lane Auctions, they are allowing us to see and hold a 1922 game-used Babe Ruth baseball bat. This is an amazing opportunity.
The 1922 game-used Babe Ruth bat. It has an autograph right here on the sweet spot. Get that, it's a little faded. And this is really awesome. Gambino used this. I'm proud of this. So I forgot to show this for the day 2 recap, but I also got this on my way out on Tuesday. It's a 1966 Coke cap, Frank Robinson, priced ridiculously affordable. A little toning there, Coke with the baseball, caramel colored. Super sweet thing, must buy at that price. I also dipped into Modern a little bit when my budget was starting to run out. Friday was my last full day, and I needed to both see and record the show floor more, as well as try to get the best bang for my buck on the way out with the rest of my budget. I got this 2003 Fleer, Albert Pujols, numbered 400 scouting report. Young picture of the machine there. I'd never seen this one. And for Eric 4-leaf cards finder fee, I found a table that said $5 with a bunch of cards just spread out. And there was 2 2010 Topps Gronk rookies. So $5, that's a no-brainer. Got one for myself, got one for him. That's a really cool image of him. One of the best tight ends of all time, if not the best. Definitely the most dominant. And when you're just trying to make the most bang for your buck, you're looking in bins to the side. You're not looking so much in the showcases, and that's where I got everything left to show. Like this Union Oil Dave Mann. Look at that image. It was just off to the side. These are very hard to find minor league cards. Dave Mann never played in the big leagues, but that image with the Coca-Cola ad in the background, the old baseball uniform, the old bag right there, so cool. And a card doesn't always have to be a star or super expensive for it to be awesome. And that's right here, a clear illustration of that. This Dave Mann card is phenomenal, and I'm super proud to own it. Got baseball cards, a great mom and pop shop that I bought a 55 Bowman Rizzuto from last year. They had graded vintage, and their low grade vintage is always priced pretty well. I got this 65 Topps Hoyt Wilhelm. Shout out Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, knuckleball fan. For my set, really nicely centered, good color for a 3. And I got this beautiful 1960 Topps Willie McCovey All-Star. So sneaky rookie card there in one of the best All-Star sets of all time. It's off center top to bottom, but the price was already too good to be true. And because I got the Wilhelm, he actually came down a little bit on this. I love the back of this card too. Drove in 27 runs in his first 22 games of the season. I was looking to the side at this one dealer, and there was 3 of these 1966 scorecards for the St. Louis Cardinals. Little Kroger ad at the bottom. There's 3 of them. I thought they're really cool with the St. Louis art, the artwork on the front, and the Busch ad on the back. You can't say beer better, which is funny because it's now Busch Stadium for the Cardinals. And I flip open, and it's the Cardinals on one side here with KOMX. So that's still their radio station today that I listen to on the radio sometimes. Harry Carey and Jack Buck, 2 very famous announcers with that cool baseball ad. And you see Brock, Flood, Cepeda, McCarver. Pretty cool. In decent shape. And you flip over to the Giants side, and there's a Juan Marichal autograph who was pitching that day. Signed the Dominican Dandy. Now, this being Sharpie told me that it was definitely not a playing days auto, like someone didn't have him sign it on the day he pitched in 1966, but it did look good to me, so I brought it right over to JSA, and they stickered it for me in 2 hours for $20. You can't go wrong with getting a unique piece like this. The guy didn't even know it was autographed, and he said he sells them really well in the St. Louis area. He said $20 a piece. I was going to buy all 3 for like $15 to $30 was my guess, and he wanted $20 a piece, so I just took the signed one. And it's really cool, that Mustang ad at the top for Ford, KSD TV. Just really cool vintage art with a beautiful autograph inside. I want to display it where it's folded out and you can see both sides of the scorecard because it is just great to look at no matter where you're looking at. And speaking of signatures, I met the great Dick Perez. And he signed this copy of the REA auction pamphlet for me. Really nice guy. He actually did a 1-minute interview with me with some questions from my friend Jake, Legends Never Die. And I'm sure you'll see that on a future video of his. But really cool guy, obviously an icon in the hobby. This painting of Clemente was for his 75th anniversary of being the first Hispanic-born Hall of Famer inducted. So that was really cool to get to meet him. And I was done with my budget for the day. I'd been walking the show floor with Scott from Stooks Baseball Cards and Curiosities, Rocket Rick J, Mark Rudog 21, Theo Clemente Collector, Matt THA Card Story, Dave Legends of the Dugout, Darren Return to Collecting, and Sammy Thunder during the day. And I was down and out of money, but Adam, Vintage Sanctuary, insisted that I take money from him. He said that one of his national goals was to buy cards for someone else, and he wasn't quite sure on what to pick out for anybody. So he picked me and said, hey, I don't want to guess. I want you to just get something you're happy with. You'll spend the $50 better than me. And after some insisting, I gave in, and I told him I will definitely get it so you can see the cards that you got me later before I go home. And I ended up finding a booth where there was a lot of boxes off to the side, which is where I like to dig. And I found this 1974 October issue of Jet Publication. Robinson now looks ahead as the first black manager in baseball. So cool. Gorgeous cigarette ad on the back as well. And the big card that I was shocked at the price tag, the 1968 Dexter Press, Hank Aaron. Now this is a beautiful card, and not just because he's kneeling, Don Field of Dreams. The 68 Dexter Presses are actually a lot less common than the 67s. You actually had to send in these Coke caps in order to get them. And the 68s are more postcard shaped. The 67s are more premium photograph size. And on the back of them, unlike a tiny little description, there is like a full breakdown of Aaron's career. Born February 5th, 34. He's 6 feet tall, bats right, throws right. 52. Brave scout Dewey Griggs purchased his contract for $10,000 from the Indianapolis Clowns of the Negro Leagues on June 14th, 52. He married Barbara Lucas on October 3rd, 53, and he became the Braves' regular right fielder in 1954, replacing Bobby Thompson, who suffered a triple fracture of the right ankle while sliding in an exhibition game in March. Talks about all his career achievements, which there are many, and it is just super awesome. It says that he should reach 500 home runs during 1968. And he ended up hitting a lot more than 500. But beautiful image. I got the pair, this magazine, and this postcard for $50, which I think is a screaming steal. So I will always think of you, my friend Adam, and your generosity when I look at these beautiful cards. Shout out Matt and Tyrus from THA Card Story. I know you guys love this one. I'm pretty sure you have it. But I'm honored to be clubbies with you if that is the case. The people really is what this whole trip was about. These cards are fantastic, both the gifts as well as the ones that I purchased for myself. But the generosity all around during the National, it's really something to behold, because in this world there's so much kind of rifts and things that push people apart. And something like cardboard pictures of men can bring us all together in this way. It's really beautiful. Random act of kindness of the day, Eric Hecker. Check him out on Twitter and Instagram. He was just handing out repacks of really good cards for free, like this Drew Brees Bowman Chrome Blue Refractor, number to 199. And there was an Edgar Martinez Topps Relic from 2002 in it. Like, Just pure generosity. Wasn't even a member of the community, just trying to make people have a better day. Stuke's Baseball Cards and Curiosities. Someone that I've looked up to, has been like a mentor to me. I got to walk the show floor with him. He introduced me to a couple dealers, and he even threw in this Dom DiMaggio Diamond Kings card on the back. Really great guy. It was an honor to finally meet him. Matt THA Card Story, who brought us to the card shop and the restaurant, was super nice and generous with me the entire week. Also gave me this Nomar Garcia Parra Upper Deck Etchings bat piece with the Boston kind of burned into it. Really cool card there with good authentication on the back. Scott over at Reindeer Studios, I finally got the Hank Aaron art. I really wanted to win the authentic one. This is the next best thing, man. I'm glad that we got to actually talk at this year's National. You're a really great dude. You had some amazing pickups, and you definitely are my best friend, Scott. John, Wade Boggs fan, it was a pleasure to see you again. And you having Wade Boggs on your custom card is so cool. I'm very excited. I think I might even send this TTM to Wade and see if he sends it back. That would be really cool to have the dual signature there. But John's a really great guy. Had some amazing pickups of his own. Al from Iconic Baseball. Met him last year, didn't get the custom. Now I have the custom, and he's really official with the suit and tie. I love it. Really nice card there of Al. Really great guy who got some really great stuff. Big Scott 35 laid this on me. Really sweet there with the signature and the old school photograph. Definitely a unique design with the Death Star there, number 13 of 15 in the corner. Orlando, a collector's dream. Super fantastic guy that I was around last year but not really introduced to, and me and him became close, and someone that I really respect, look up to, was able to walk the floor with, and just soak up the knowledge of all these veteran collectors that have been doing it for a long time, and showing them what I picked up. And it's just invaluable, the community, what it offers. If you just go out there and press play, all you have to do is press play, get yourself out there, and you can make some legitimate friends that really will change your life. And Orlando's a great example of that. Someone who is just community first and really wants to give back and teach as much as he can. Dylan, Double D Vintage and Splendid Sports, Adam. I got to see them on the main stage on Thursday with John Newman. That was so awesome. I got some recording there. Dylan and Adam do a show called Turn Back the Clock, and this is what this is advertising for, with both their channels at the bottom. Really cool 1951 design. Two amazing guys that I felt like I already knew when I met them, but it was so cool to get to hang out with them, walk the show floor, share a drink. Just so cool. Dylan gave me a custom of him surfing, and that's a big wave. So big that he was able to write a really nice note throughout the entire thing. And he laid a rack pack of 2007 Topps on me because he knows that this is the card that started me down the road of the hobby and eventually to meeting him in Chicago. And Dylan also got a custom surfing card done by Scott Reindeer Studios, and he had the original art and a small stack of these cards, and he said, hey, like, I know you're a Red Sox fan and will appreciate this. And he handed it to me, and this is just so awesome to own one. Scott nailed the back, and the artwork on the front of Ted surfing is just super cool. The fact that he's using a bat as a paddle board type of oar situation, it is glorious. And that's really what it is. It's about the people in this community. If you're a member of this community and you haven't been to a national, I hope that everything that I just showed and the footage and pictures that I'm about to show here at the end helped kind of hold you over until the next opportunity. We definitely missed you there. For everybody that I met at the show or reunited with for the first time, thank you so much. I told Orlando this when we were in the bar Friday night at Filmington's event, which was fantastic. Not as good of a space, but still a great time. There was a trade night happening in the lobby with hundreds of people, and I said to Orlando, there's a bunch of 24-year-olds out there. There's not a lot of 24-year-olds in here. And having a community of people, regardless of age, that can connect by appreciating history and picking up amazing cards of amazing players from the golden age of vintage all the way back to the early 1900s. It's just amazing that I can go up to a John Mangini, who I spent a lot of the show with. I can go up to a Rick Vintage Oddball Cards, and I can just absorb that knowledge. They're just so willing to help and to teach and to learn and help. It's truly a blessing. All the friends that I've gotten to spend time with, the ones that I had already met or haven't met, that I just got so much closer to from this experience. Sammy Thunder, we walked the show floor a ton, my friend. It was so good getting to hang out with you in that way. You had amazing pickups. Dave, Legends of the Dugout, my older brother from another mother, you were so helpful with me all weekend, always being willing to meet up with me and walk the show floor and give me your opinion and check out the cards. You had amazing pickups as well, my friend. I'm happy you finally pulled the trigger and bought stuff for yourself. Matt, THA Card Story, like I said, the generosity from him all weekend was apparent, and he's just such an amazing guy. His family was all amazing to meet. Tyrus, shout out you, brother. You're doing great things as a young guy, both with your Pokemon collecting and your Hank Aaron collecting, and you're being raised right with those great parents of yours. You're going to be doing great. Liam, Junior Baseball Fanatic 12, seeing a 13-year-old kid who's picking up cards from the 1800s and stuff like that is just really awesome, because I was not quite collecting that old of cards, but I was in those shoes 10 years ago where I started really wanting and pushing for the historically significant players and cards, and it's a really exciting time. His parents were super supportive and hands-on with the trip, something that definitely he's going to be able to take full advantage of over the years while he has age on his side. And so many people that I met, and I know I will leave out, I'll try to tag as many people as possible that I met during the show. Two guys that I've been watching and admiring for a long time, Dave Blue Jacket 66 and Nate Tops 85 401. Getting to meet them and shake their hand and thank them for what they do with their videos. Frank Baseball Hall of Fame Autographs, same thing. Guys that I'd always looked up to, watch their videos, learn a lot from, and didn't get to like physically thank them face to face. It really is a next level experience. So whether it's a Fanatics regional show, a regular regional show like Lou Rock hosted in Florida, or the next national I can attend, I cannot wait for it. Until the next time we're all together in this community, enjoy the footage and pictures from the show. Leave a comment about what you like that I picked up and any questions you had about the show. I'm definitely willing to fill everyone in as much as I can. It's an overwhelming experience, but in the best way